This is Kev Ua Neej Part 5. Be mong mo luluata, zineng o lo ke kopu ko iplo. Chi cha zhong kopu o lo ke zineng ke mong tlai to. Ooh! Te te jata ku nyen ke luna ke zhengo ku chi cho ta tao na. And it didn't really make sense. But the more I sat with these words and the more I thought about it, it actually makes a lot of sense. Let's first translate this into English, and then we'll break it down to see what the meaning is underneath these words. What this means is the man in the relationship. The man has an affair. The woman then is burdened, emotionally burdened, and cries to process her emotions. The second part of the saying. Means you don't conduct yourself well. In other words, you don't behave well. You meaning the man. If you go and have an affair, one day when your partner, your wife in this case, also goes and has an affair, that day your heart will be so broken. No matter what you do, your wife is not coming back. It may lead you, the heartbrokenness, that feeling may lead you down this path of ending your life. Now, this is the part that's confusing. And I thought about this for a minute. I'm like, how come for the woman, she cries whenever her husband has an affair? But for the man, if his wife is to have an affair, he ultimately will consider ending his life. The first part of this saying, what does that mean? They cry to process their emotions. Women in general are attuned to their emotions. Women are not afraid to lean into vulnerability. They're not afraid to access and experience their emotions. And so if their partner is to have an affair, they're going to feel it 100%. And they're going to process it with their peers who can also empathize and create that space for them to process that emotion. They cry with one another, seek support, receive support, and they talk about what's happened. They process those emotions. And then finally, when they're able to overcome that and cope with it, they're able to move on. Now, flip that around. Men, us men, it's different. Men don't really talk about emotions. When men hang out with one another, usually we talk about fishing, sports. We talk about things that are more at the superficial level. If it comes to emotional sort of accessing and leading to vulnerability, that's almost close to none. Is that to say that men, we don't talk about these things at all, that we don't have real talks? Yes, we do. We do have these honest conversations as well. But it's not very likely that this is always the first choice or the first option that we go to. So that is to say, men, we don't access our emotions as easy as women do. If anything, we would prefer to put it under the rug. Leaning into vulnerability is very challenging for a lot of us men. And because we're not attuned to our emotions, whenever we experience it, we may not even know what it is that we're experiencing. We can't even identify what emotion is coming up for us. It's being triggered and evoked as a result of this affair. And the usual emotion that many of us are familiar with is anger. And anger is a form of emotions that comes with power, and it helps us to kind of control, get back a sense of control of what it is that we lost. Like, this is true. You know what I'm talking about. If you've experienced this before, you know how much it hurts you. Ole ku na ha chen ko mo yo che mo ka ki no lo chi kang le cho tang le lai cho tang le chi kang lu no mo ko yo sa mo nung je la long ko lang bom be chi sang nu le mo yo hang ro lo mo nyo in nu ti chi nan cha mo lu le nu lo chi sa mo on nu mo cần de lo bong tang le cho khó ta mo len de le ke yu lu sha chi nyo cho to che cần de chi nyo cho to ka che on nu ko mo nung je la sha chi nyo de le you bên sáng giờ you tụt lu của thị lần rồi. Để整con you một trang,整con bao tay một trang có sáng rõ tao đủ lòng, chỉ tao了. And then just like the emotions part that I talked about here, we don't know how to access it. We don't even know what it feels like. And so oftentimes we lead ourselves down this path of numbing it through usage of substances. More often than not, alcohol seems to be a very effective choice. And while alcohol may temporarily provide you with relief, it's temporary. It's only borrowing tomorrow's joy. Chỉ có hậu chớ của you nó căng cho you khỏi cái sáng tới. Cloud in đủ thì chỉ căng từ bị kỳ. Chỉ chớ nữa rộng. You feel it again. You draw cam một cái nhau sát tổ. And for many of you who don't know, alcohol actually enhances your anxiety. It exacerbates it. While it provides you with that temporary relief today, tomorrow when you wake up, it makes you even more anxious, which means you're going to want to drink even more. Broken heart syndrome, right? Broken heart syndrome, nó mò sao bật chàng lo. Yun trả chỉ tao lên rồi. Có một cô tao hỏi một lần doctor, sao là doctor ta chỉ một lần chỉ lên. Big test down, ta chỉ một lần chỉ lên. So there is no results for you. Everything comes back normal. But you yourself, you feel it. The pain that just won't go away. The pain that your loved one has left. When you are in that position, when we're in that position, and we feel hopeless and helpless, it eventually leads us down this path where our minds want to help us relieve ourselves of this pain. Hence, the Banglu here would say, it's a little extreme, but it makes a good point. So what point is this saying trying to teach us? Very simple. It's embedded right in it. 叫容. 叫容 means a lot of things. Whatever that means for you works for you and your spouse. But more often than not, 叫容 means staying committed to your partner. 叫容 also means investing your time back into making things right when things are wrong. It also means defining your values, the things that matter to you and your spouse, so that wherever you go, these values, 你找路空有治you, ကို要找下想住you 路做路嘢，實在冇想找那個叫嚟都落嚟，但是要叫嚟都要都自覺。And then maybe last but not least, it also teaches us, perhaps it may not be too bad to access our emotions too, to learn how to process our emotions. Because unlike physical illness, where we can identify where something is wrong, when we experience this emotional pain, it's hard to identify. But if we're able to be familiar with it and find ways to cope, that'll be helpful in many circumstances in our lives. I hope that helps. As always, take care, be well, peace out.